Now, from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thee, coming to you from our studios right here, historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park. I have State Representative John Wills here with us from Spirit Lake, fresh from the first few days of the session down there in Des Moines, and thank you for being with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is nice to be able to come back and just kind of explain a little bit about what we're doing down in Des Moines.
Yeah, as you said before we got going, first week, kind of the pomp and circumstance. You all get, of course, sworn back in and so forth, and the governor gives her state or condition of the state address, and now the meat of the things start moving on now.
Yeah, she presented to us what she where she thinks the state is at, and we're in a really good position in the state. So then she kind of talks about her priorities and some very good priorities. Energy policy. We in the House started working on energy policy last year, and so it's going to be nice to see some of that moving forward, and I think that's going to be important for our state. We're going to look at an all of the above kind of energy policy for the state, which includes nuclear, and I think that's something we need to really look at now, because it's too late 10 years from now.
Yeah, right. Now, any leftovers from last year that didn't quite make it to the second funnel, and of course the Republicans are in majority there of, maybe we need to get back on this.
Yeah, I think energy policy is one of those. I think that's something that we really need to tie it up and wrap the bow around it and be done, because 10 years from now is too late. So every year now that we kind of waste is just that much closer.
Yeah.
And everything that we have now is using more energy. Our computers, everything is using more energy. And as we move towards more electric cars, we don't have the current energy structure to support that.
Yeah, the infrastructure isn't set for that.
Right. Even though we produce 21% more energy than we need, especially in wind, we don't have enough to power electric cars if that's what everybody wants.
Yeah. So now yourself, do you have any bills that you're going to introduce or floor manage?
Yeah, I will introduce a bill that I call pre-birth child support. And so if a mother becomes pregnant, the father of that unborn baby should pay for some of the support of that unborn baby. Pre-birth vitamins and doctor's checkups. A mother has to have a car seat before she leaves the hospital, so she's going to buy it before the baby is born.
Yes.
So the mother shouldn't be on an island of that baby, shouldn't be on an island. They should have some help. And so that was something I started last year, kind of ran out of time with it. So we kind of have some changes made to it and made it a little bit better bill this year, and going to move it forward again.
Yeah. How about daylight savings time?
I have a bill to eliminate daylight savings time and make daylight savings time become Iowa's standard time.
Yeah.
So once we change the clock back this summer, if this passes, we will never have to change the clock again, and we can just have a little bit longer daylight at the end of the day. Now, some people don't like it because it's less light in the morning. So,
if you can win everybody over, you're doing a great job.
One way or another, I don't care which way it goes.
Yeah.
I just started out with daylight savings time becoming Iowa Standard Time. If it ends up being that more people want the regular time to be it, I don't care. We don't need to change our clocks back or forward or do anything with our clocks anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Well, our new president seemed to have some interest in doing something, listening to him the other day, that this needs to be done.
Looking into it, did you know heart attacks increase? It doesn't matter which time. Heart attacks the next day after the time change increase. Depression rates go up.
I've never heard any of that.
All of this health data comes out that just by changing the clock back or forward 1 hour, you increase this bad health stuff. So let's get rid of it.
I'm with you 100%. as far as budget taxes, any changes we're going to look at this year, or continuation of things?
Yeah, by and far, the number one issue that across the state of Iowa that legislators heard this year was about property taxes. And it's a tough thing to tackle for us because that's a local tax. It's 100% local. County, of course, cities, schools, community hospitals, community colleges. Those are the big ones that are really tapping into property taxes. Yeah. There's a few other smaller ones that might, libraries and so forth.
Right.
But the big ones were the one I mentioned. Here in Dickinson County, I was surprised. I looked at it. Sanitary sewer was like my number 3 biggest property tax issue. So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, if you look at the individual cities and what percentage that is, it's amazing where it goes and how much.
By and far, everybody is concerned about property. Almost everybody is concerned about property taxes, and of course, when we hear that as a legislature, we have to do something. We're pushed into doing something, even though it's a totally local tax. So 2 years ago, we did some stuff that we thought was reasonable and didn't dictate to the local taxing entities a terrible amount, but it did dictate some things. Yeah. We're still hearing that isn't enough. So I don't know what we're going to do. Somebody smarter than me is going to have to come up with something because I don't. It is a local tax. I believe fully that if Dickinson County wants gold-plated bricks on its roads, Dickinson County should have gold-plated bricks on its roads, and that's up to the local taxpayer to decide.
Right.
So there's really only 2 things we can do. We can tell cities, counties, schools, so forth, you're going to be cut off after you increase this much. So we could tell them that. Yeah. That's going to stifle growth. That's really going to hurt some local communities, especially growing communities like ours, like Dickinson County. Or we could basically say we're not going to do anything. But the other thing we could do is, once you do reach that growth, that's it. You can't do anything. Well, that's really kind of not smart. Mm-hmm. So I favor an approach that we just simplify the whole process. So right now it's very difficult to understand, and this I think is something that might have merit. When you say, well, it's the county that is increasing your taxes, well, people don't understand how the county does that, or it's the school district. Actually, if everybody looks at their tax certificate on the very back of it, it tells you exactly who your taxing authorities are that are taxing. Many instances, it's the school district. Yes. And I had a person call me from Milford a few months ago. Oh, my school taxes went up so much, and I'm like, well, did you vote for the school bond issue? Well, yeah, I did. Well, there you go. I mean, so there are reasons why some of our taxes have gone up. Sure. And so I think that we need to simplify the process. One other thing that the state can do, we could actually start taking over some of the expenses that the counties and the cities and the schools do. Right. I don't favor that because that gets rid of local initiative, and all of a sudden, Dickinson County says we want gold-plated bricks, and the state will say no. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, that's not cool. Yeah.
So I think people don't understand all the moving pieces when you go to simplify, or you think, oh, we got to take care of this, but if we do that, this happens. It's not just a triangle in a triangular space. You're moving things, and
it's a tough issue. I mean, if it was easy, we would have fixed it years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Any move on mental health care or anything like that?
So this is the first full year that we will, I guess it is even the first full year yet. This year will be the first full year where the state has actually fully taken over the mental health issue, and we've kept county supervisors on as an advisory role. Mm-hmm. We have taken over the entire cost as a state. This is when I say it's the first full year this year, we actually have a contractor now that is in charge of all of the regions that were set up, and is actually doing a lot of that local mental health movement. I think we're really on the right track. This is now the first full year where we actually have some regional mental health facilities that people can be housed at.
Yes.
And I think that's another step in the right direction. But really, this year will be kind of a test. A lot of changes, and there's a lot of problems that happen when changes occur, a lot of unforeseen things. And so we may have to double back next year and say, well, we need to tweak here, tweak there, and do some things. But otherwise, I think we're in really good position.
Good, yeah, and that's why you don't etch anything in stone, because when you change things, there's going to be tweaks because we didn't know about this, or
Right.
So yeah. One last question, and that's how about eminent domain? I know there's different things happening last year and changes and differences between the House and the Senate, and any idea, any movement there?
That, again, is another tough issue.
Yeah.
We in the House have filed bills 2 years in a row, 2 years ago, last year.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have another bill again this year that will tackle that issue, especially for the carbon pipeline. I really have a tough time with the carbon pipeline eminent domain issue because it's not a utility. It is a hazardous material, which is why it got into the IUB.
Yeah.
But it's not really a utility, so to speak, but it fits into that mold because of the way the current law reads. I think that we will have another proposal. The stopping point for the last 2 years has been the Senate. Now, the Senate has had some change over, so there may be some ability to do some things in the Senate. My guess is in the end it probably not happen.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop. We're going to try. But I do believe that we will address this kind of thing for the future. I think that we can move forward and get some changes done in the IUB, get some changes done to actually, redefine what a utility is that can do eminent domain. And I think that we can make that attempt and try to do something like that. It may not be something that we can do unless the Senate's willing, which I don't think they will, to do something for the current situation. But we can look, I think, to the future.
If the Senate did come together with you, would the governor sign it, do you think?
Here's one good thing about being governor. She hasn't had a statement one way or the other on that one, so I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's what bothers people. It's a 3-member Iowa Energy Commission, and and it's their say, and it's difficult for people to accept that, stomach that.
They're all appointed by the governor, and so you could probably infer that maybe the governor is in
and that's
favor.
why I asked the question. I'm like, she appointed, so well.
I personally would like to see a change made to the IUB, and I think as we look to the future, the IUB, or I think it's called IUC now, Iowa Utilities Commission, with 3 members has so much power, and so I'm in favor of expanding that commission. Some people just a few days ago asked me if I would be in favor of having that be an elected position. It was something I hadn't thought about, but I think South Dakota has an elected utility board, and so something I'm willing to take a look at. My proposal was that we allow the governor to still appoint 3, but then we have 2 more members that are appointed by the legislature. That makes it so that you're spreading some of that power out.
Exactly. You might hear some other viewpoints.
Yeah. So that's an option, but I hadn't really thought about having elected Iowa Utility Commission members. That's maybe something that doesn't have a lot of, that might have some merit to it.
Might need more conversation on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my friend, I know you're busy, and if people want to contact you, email you, call you, what's the best way to get a hold of you, John?
So I think the best and easiest way is just drop me an email at john.wills@legis.iowa.gov. That's a really good, easy way. And leave a phone number if you want me to call you back, and I'll call you back when I have the time. Otherwise, they can give me a call too, but I'm not always available to take calls.
Yeah. All right. Well, my friend, thank you for your service.
And thank you for
representing us here in from Des Moines, and we appreciate that so very much. And safe travels as you're going back and forth.
Thank you.
You bet. State Representative John Wills here with us again from Spirit Lake. We want to thank him for his time. We thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast.
Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.